Hey everybody, this is Smashing Game Time. We are three brothers that go through the release windows of yesteryear exploring old games. I'm your host, Nick. To my bottom left is this asshole named Jake.
Hello, I'm Jake. I like video games.
He likes video games. And then to my left is another guy who likes video games. That is Josh.
Hey everyone, you know you love him. And guess what? If you haven't noticed already, if you're not watching the video, we've grown up. We've hit puberty. We're no longer a young pubescent podcast. We have grown into young adults, teenagers. We're there. We are getting there. We are moody, we are bright, and we are loud.
What Josh is referencing is, if you're watching the video version, we have, as he said, went through puberty. We have a beautiful new backdrop, and our logos have moved around. So we've grown up, as he said.
I don't like the word puberty thrown around like this. Let me just say we're evolved, like Pokemon or something.
I could have said we're discovering our bodies.
We're discovering our podcast
I don't know about
bodies.
that.
A few housekeeping things before we get started, guys. For those who don't know, we have joined the Trident Network. We joined them last week. We are officially on the Trident Network. We are still available everywhere that you get your podcasts. We're in a bigger family now. We kind of got adopted, you know. I had these two brothers over here, and I was like, I want more. So check them out. They have some other great shows. I'm going to be checking them out myself as well. Still same schedule releases. We're still going to be around. We had a few shakeups over the last week, and then the holidays. So it's going to be the normal Monday releases unless there's a holiday. The other thing, we're still on Apple. Still rate and review. It's a great way to support the show, and we'll read your reviews on the air, on the airwaves. It's coming live.
5 stars or get the fuck out.
5 stars or get the fuck out.
I'll read it in any accent you want.
Josh, please do not. We do not need it.
Yeah,
we do not need your act. We do not need your bad act. There we go. All right, everyone. Today we are doing 2010 Q1. We've got 5 games from the beginning of the 2010 decade that we'll get to. We're also sending the aughts away, 00 through 09. We're each going to be picking our favorite game, and so we're basically going to have our top 10 list. 1 game per each year. So we'll do that at the end instead of a quiz, and then we'll have a little bit of news in between those two. So that is what is on the agenda for today. Gentlemen, how about we get into the games?
All right, let's do it.
Q1. All right, so January 26th, we have, which is probably one of my favorite Western RPGs. We've got Mass Effect 2 from the BioWare team. And I would argue that this game has one of the best launch trailers. They had what is that? Heart of Courage or
Two steps from hell.
2 Steps from Hell. I think it was we'll fight for the. We may not be able to save everyone, but we'll fight for the lost or something. That trailer, oh my god! And this came right after the Call of Duty launch trailer with the Eminem song in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just this was the peak timing of launch trailers. Like I was so hyped.
Oh, this is the
This
golden
game
age.
had everything. It had great voice actors. I mean, it's got Seth Green.
He was Joker.
He was Joker. Yeah. It's got great action. I mean, I've noticed a change from the first one where there's actually you don't have unlimited ammo, and the first one you did. This one you didn't.
Yeah,
so
the weapons.
That was a big change.
The weapons in the first one had like a cooldown. It was energy based. So like, oh hey, you shot this machine gun too long, your weapon has to cool down. Whereas this one had like the packs and you could run out of ammo. I also felt like this one had a better. There was like the builds felt more different. Like you could definitely tell them apart. I forget I think I was the engineer, the one that could like throw an energy ball and like curve it over cover.
Mm-hmm. It was more customizations. I also liked how what you did in the first one added some changes to the second game.
And see, I think this is something that its reputation has been tarnished since the last 2 came out, so 3 and Andromeda. Yeah. Because the first one came out like, hey, this is a giant space opera. The decisions you make are going to change everything that happens the next 2 or 3 games. And it kind of got a little bit of it. But ultimately, everything was pretty much still the same. I did like that at the beginning of this one, if you didn't play one, it let you make some decisions like at the beginning, like, hey, what'd you do when this happened? And it would affect it that way. The menu was also a lot better. If you remember the menu inventory from the first one, it was messy. You would turn like just blocky looking and disgusting. This one was a lot better. Not as clunky. Combat also feels a lot better. This one, like the first one, I think the first one doesn't feel like as crisp when you're playing it. Doesn't feel as smooth. But like this one just feels better, but it also makes it feel less like an RPG from that standpoint.
Kind of like a great protagonist. That's the bad guy, right?
Antagonist.
Well, it's got a great protagonist too, because like you're going against the Reapers.
The Reapers, but the main group antagonist. So the last game it was the Geth because they were helping the Reapers. This game it's the Collectors who are helping the Reapers. And I've always liked that aspect of it. Like, hey, here's this group that is helping this evil entity. That's who our main bad guy is. And they give you a Geth character in your party. This one, for those who don't know story-wise, this one's like a get your crew together, you got to build up loyalty, and we're going on a suicide mission. By the way, great song on the soundtrack as well.
Best suicide mission ever.
And we've been on the lot. We've been on the lot.
The real Suicide Squad.
I mean, okay, so of every known concept of a suicide mission, this by far is the best because not only is it so badass, but it really makes your choices feel like they meant something.
Yeah,
throughout the whole game.
Because you're deciding like, okay, you kind of like you sit down at the beginning of the mission, at the end of the game, you're like, okay, you're going here, you're going like you sit down and plan out the whole like I say heist, but it's not a heist, it's a suicide mission. It's really the only thing wrong with Mass Effect 2 is that 3 happened.
I was gonna say Andromeda happened.
Andromeda, yes, that happened, but like the writing was already on the wall for that one with the bad eyeballs.
Like as much as people, and I am part of the people who shit on 3. The theories that lead up to it make more sense and make the game that much more better. In my opinion. Like once I played the game first, loved it. I mean, I loved all of them. So like except for 3 parts of it, and then obviously the ending. I enjoyed. And then I read the theory and I'm like, oh my God, this makes everything that you've done up to this point make more sense. And it makes you really think that if they just would have put that more into the writing, it would have been so much better. For those who don't know, and it's a spoiler alert, just look up indoctrination theory. You will not be disappointed.
Josh has gone on him. I think Josh has brought that up in the podcast before.
I have brought it up. I'm just saying, promise you, if you're not ready for spoilers, don't read it or watch the video. There is a video. But if you're ready to look into it and want to feel like your choices were worth something, look it up.
Just a great way to start off 2010. Do we have anything else on Mass Effect 2 before we move on?
Nah.
I mean, the Elusive Man is also just a great touch. I loved him as a character.
He's a great side antagonist. I wish they would have done a little more with him in 2. And then in 3, they just waste him. Oh,
yeah. No, but as far as like... I mean, the title's in his name, the Elusive Man. It's perfect. If they just would have done more with him, he would have been like the best. I honestly, they would have had the best character catalog ever.
It's still a fun game. Still my favorite
Great
Mass
game.
Effect.
Oh yeah.
All right, up next we've got
February 9th, BioShock 2.
Oh, look at Jake taking charge.
Jake's
I like it.
taking the initiative. I love
it. Listen. I can't tell you much about this game because it's kind of like. It's just there. I feel like the first one was very high praise. The third one was high praise. This one, I can't tell you anything about it.
Actually, I agree with Jake. I really think this one didn't get the love it deserved because obviously it was very reminiscent of BioShock 1. But I also think that it added more to what we already loved.
So I'll tell you why this one wasn't as hyped up. But no, I'll tell you why this one wasn't as well received, but it was hyped as fuck. Is because the way they were selling this was you were playing a Big Daddy. That's how they were pitching it. Like, hey, what if you played a Big Daddy? And then, so it is like, I was never a fan of the Big Daddies. I think they're just an enemy type that's like, take it or leave it. Who cares? But I think the thing about this game that people hold on to a lot is that DLC that was really good. And I argue was probably one of the last good story DLCs, and I think that's called The Den of Minerva. Great story-based DLC, because if you look at like the future of Bioshock Infinite's my favorite. I know there's a lot of love lost on it though, and then the DLC is not anywhere near this.
Did you mean Minerva's Den?
Was it Minerva? Did I say the Den of Minerva?
Yeah, that's what they
Minerva's
waited
Den.
to Minerva's Den.
I knew it was somewhere in there.
Oh no, you're
I mean,
close.
like-
Just making sure that was the one.
I mean, if you think about it, like when you think of Bioshock, you have like, I mean, unless you don't know about the Would You Kindly on the first one, when you think of Bioshock, you're thinking about Big Daddy.
I mean,
Like
you
what you can't really think of like you can't really think about like any other character or whatever in the game. You think about like when you hear Bioshock, first thing that comes to mind is Big Daddy, or if you know about it, Would You Kindly.
As a Bioshock Infinite simp, I'd argue Songbird, but that I'm not the majority here. Like, I think a lot of people played the first Bioshock and then jumped off.
Yeah, I never actually played the other two.
I actually haven't either. I know. I take it back. I've played 2, but only because I was in the phase where I was trying to play through all of them, and I got through 2, did all of the DLC and everything, got all the achievements, and then I was just so burnt out, I stopped and didn't finish the next one. So
I'm honestly surprised this like the first Bioshock got a direct sequel like this, because after that first one, I always thought, oh, just take it to other places like that. It's kind of like the Fallout vaults. Like, hey, that vault had a cool idea. Let's go do something over there. So the fact that they went back to the same place to Rapture twice, this just has me curious about what they're gonna do with the show. Or it's either a show or a movie they're doing for Netflix. I don't know. I have little
Bioshock?
faith. Yeah, I have little faith in Netflix doing it right.
Yeah, I do too. And like, I think Bioshock would be a great like idea for a show. It got some, there's some lore behind it. I believe they can work with it.
I think if you try to pull it off like a Mr. Robot, where like there's people within Rapture fighting to get out, but that's the whole thing because Rapture is the hoity-toity like upper class, so it would have to be the lower class that's working within Rapture under these people. So the people who are like the servers, the butlers, like those people working there, because I don't think Rapture touched on that set of people too much. I know that Columbia did. Columbia was a lot more about race relations and those relationships between workers and the higher class. Rapture, not so much. I don't remember there being a lot of that.
no, because it kind of just threw in like, oh, there's basically fighting amongst people because they wanted one leader to lead and then they wanted another, and it just started to fall apart completely.
And a lot of drugs.
Lots of lots of drugs. They are the drug capital of the world.
Hey, they got a bad Adam problem. You guys got any Adam for me? All right, anything else on Bioshock 2 before we move on?
Nah.
Nah, dog. We leave in Rapture. We don't go to Rapture. It's tough out there.
No one talks about Rapture.
Nobody
Josh,
talks
what we got
about
next?
Rapture.
February 23rd, Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Now, I love the hell out of this game. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I never played it. It's just one of those games where it's like, I think it's just like, it's fun to watch. Like, I don't think you'd actually need, like, play it once and that's it.
Jake's answer to every other game today. I haven't played it.
I never really played it.
I agree with Jake. It's definitely it's a long game. It's definitely, for me, it was a play one. I think I played it twice or attempted it a second time. I did play it once and got a really terrible ending, but it was good. It's not for somebody who doesn't get into these types of games a lot. I enjoyed it.
So for those who don't know, Heavy Rain is one of those games where you have quick time action. So like let's say you're opening an envelope, you'll be tapping like the triangle button to open it, or like let's say you're trying to open a car, it'll have you like move the thumbstick in a way to open the car door, stuff like that. And it's at the center, it's a murder mystery. Kids are basically kidnapped and then they're found dead like 3 or 4 days later. It's raining the whole time. Very, very moody. I'm clicking around in this video because I know there's nudity, and we're not trying to get taken down, so let's be careful with the sex here.
So wait, you didn't review this video before?
It's an 8-hour video, Jake.
There was so it was either like 2 minutes of Sean, or it was 8 hours of no talking. So
I want 2 minutes of Sean, please.
The meme of this game, is you're at the mall with your son. Your son's kidnapped. Your son's name is Sean. You continuously press the button to yell his name as you're looking for him, and that meme is just carried on. I think this game is important because I put these games on the same shelf as like point and click adventures. Because you're walking around, you're looking for clues, you're looking for, oh, hey, like there's a lock on this door, I need to find the key for it, or I need to find a bolt cutter for this padlock. And I think this brought it to Sony. There were a few more games, I think Beyond Two Souls from the same developer. I think this is Quantum Dream that developed this.
Quantic Dream.
Quantic Dream. See, I'm just bad with words today. They have a few more games. They did, I think, a few on PS3 and then a few on PS4. I think they're also doing a Star Wars game now. So that's kind of weird.
They also did Detroit Become Human.
Detroit.
Yeah, Star Wars Eclipse is the game.
That's right.
That they're working on.
That's like before like the Old Republic stuff, if I'm remembering correctly, or right in the middle of it.
I think you're right.
There's so much Star Wars. Who can keep up with it? But I think this was a fun game. It has a great mystery. You're playing as 4 different characters.
Multiple upon multiple endings.
Multiple upon multiple endings. There's the one detective who has like sci-fi gloves, and if you use those too much, he ends up like not like being out of touch with reality, and he sees like a little tank following him at the end of the game. It's a weird ending, but it's always stuck with me. Do they look good? No. This looks like a late PS2 game on the PS3. This might be an HD upres.
That might be. Yeah, I think that one is.
Don't they have like a
Yeah,
Isn't there like a PS4 copy of it?
They do their re-releases, but PS3 re-releases have been weird because they're unable to do much with them. Are we good here, guys? I know I'm.
Yeah.
I'm the heavy rain guy. Oh, excuse me, that snuck out. All right, let me get to the list here. So up next we have March 9th, Final Fantasy 13. So I finally get a moment to shut up while you guys talk about this one.
So, fun fact, my very first Final Fantasy game I could ever pre-order.
You could, or
so by the time we had a job and everything, and I was like really into gaming, this was the first Final Fantasy I pre-ordered.
So this game, I didn't care for it. I played the first like 5 hours of it. Its battle system is weird. I mean, you don't really move the characters, I believe.
No, so it's active time battle. It's the same system they used in Final Fantasy VI, where
so it's just
happening live. So like literally, you could sit there and do nothing, and the enemy will attack you.
So it's kind of like the original 4, because I know.
So those
the
were
original 6.
Okay, no. So 6 is the first one to introduce the active time battle, and it was the only one before then. So like all the rest of them are still technically turn based. Like 7 would be they had a similar system, but it wasn't this active time battle. But this one really heavily utilized it, as you can see, especially in the gameplay. It was just to make it more realistic to the sense, the aesthetic.
Like, I don't know, this game, I didn't understand the story. I know there's two sequels to it. It's the only cool thing was that it was the first Final Fantasy to hit the Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's true too. So to everyone else's wondering, if they're wondering, so they did a lot of things different with this one. They introduced the crystals as being like not a metaphor, but like a catalyst. So basically, you find these beings. They're called fal'Cie, who turn people into the sea, and they make them follow like a quest, basically, where they get like a premonition of what they have to do, and if they don't complete their quest, they become monsters that you see them fighting. And if they do, they become crystals and are forever eternalized beings until they're called back again. And that's a heavy staple for the next couple games after this, including the sequels. It's beautifully done. It is the first Final Fantasy that hit the Xbox, other than, I guess, technically Final Fantasy
11. Yeah, but we don't talk about Final Fantasy.
I mean, for that, I don't count that technically because it was already a thing. But no, I mean, really, it's just a little different. A lot of people hit like Jake, they just didn't like it because it was different. If you look especially at like the last 3 single player ones, you had 7, 8, 9. All 3 of those are fantastically done in their own way. 7 was very army of one type deal where it's you against a whole entire company, and it was very immortalized. You had 8, which basically is schools fighting each other. So it's like every anime kid's dream come true. And then 9 was you against basically the world. It's great. So I can see where people were maybe turned off by it, but it did really good review wise. Like critics all around praised it because it was just so beautifully done, and the story is really good if you get into it.
It looks like from like the video now, it looks like it's kind of got the same like traveling movement from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, so it's very linear up until like the last act of the game where you're basically in an open world, and even then it's still somewhat linear to an extent. But they have like quests and stuff you can do to get better equipment and level yourself up. Oh, and there wasn't even a leveling system. They use like crystals again. But so instead of like going from like level 1 to 20, you unlock these you get these points by getting a certain amount of experience, and then use those points to unlock certain things. Like you would use it to unlock increase your strength, speed, accuracy, unlock skills, unlock equipment slots.
It's like X.
Yes, to an extent it's like X, but it's like, oh, we're gonna refine it to make it even dumb. Like you don't need the spheres to be able to unlock this stuff. You just need the experience to unlock it.
Honestly, what they should have done, and I could see them do it in the future, make Blitzball a side game.
I don't see them making Blitzball any. If they were going to do it, they would have already done it.
Blitzball is fucking boring. I'm sorry.
Dude, Blitzball was fun. I actually saw an article recently about Blitzball, but I forgot what it was.
Oh, I forgot to mention. They also brought in the paradigm system, which so you have different classes. You had like an attacker. You had a synergist who was basically like adds buffs to your team. You had like a sentinel who was defensive and stuff like that. And you could create different battle styles and different team ups to do certain things. Like you would start up by trying to buff yourself up and debuff the enemies, and then you would go on the attacker and have them attack them and do damage, and then have basically like a wizard almost basically go in there and do like heavy damage to try and like stun them, and stunning them would allow you to like double your damage.
I mean,
there's
this
a
game
lot different for Final
how many
Fantasy.
how many characters in this game are memorable to you?
Lightning?
Besides Lightning.
Hope, because I hate Hope. He's so annoying. Saj, he's annoying.
Which one was Hope?
Hope's the little boy.
Oh yeah, he was.
He's annoying. Saj is annoying because he's the old man who's annoying.
Oh yeah, the guy with the bird in his head.
Yeah, the bird in his head. Fang is just an asshole. Vanilla is an asshole, but nice. I mean, so like Lightning's the only one who sticks out of the whole group, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because there's a sequel called Lightning Returns.
Well, technically, her sister's in the second one.
Spoiler alert. Thanks.
Well, that's not really a spoiler alert.
I was
not really a
eventually
spoiler
gonna play
alert.
it, you butthole.
That's definitely not a spoiler alert. You wouldn't. It hasn't
Don't you have all the games on Steam, Josh?
All of them except for Lightning Returns. Yeah,
I'm sure you can get it.
I've been watching for it on sale, and every time it's gone on sale, I've missed it. So
I'm sure you can get it really cheap.
All right. Anything about Final Fantasy 13? Anything else about Final Fantasy 13, gentlemen?
Not in my top 10. I can tell you that.
Don't listen to Jake. Give it a try if you haven't, or at least watch the videos. It's really good. It has a great story to it.
When it comes to Final Fantasy 13, Jake's more of a bottom.
Jake's used to be
That's the audience laughing at your dumbass joke.
All right. Finally, March 16th, God of War 3. God of War 3. Ah! This is actually one of the only PS3 games I remember playing all the way through.
Yeah, same. It was fun.
Like I remember playing this and maybe the first Resistance all the way through. Otherwise, the rest of them I just kind of forgot. This was the exciting conclusion to the Greek portion of God of War. Now they're flirting with Norse gods, riding the Norse god hype right now.
So again, I've not played the second one. I've only played this one and the first one.
So I played all three. This one basically picks up at the end of 2. Like 2, you've got these I almost call them colossi. You've got the old gods out. And
Titans.
The Titans. You got the Titans out, and they're climbing up to Olympus to assault them. And I believe this is Hera. No, not Hera. I forget this Titan's name. But
Gaia.
Gaia.
It's Gaia. So you're basically on her
Nick,
back.
know your shit.
It's been my Greek mythology is fuzzy as hell. So you're basically on this Titan, riding it up Mount Olympus as enemies attack you on this Titan, and then also you've got Poseidon attacking you. Oh my god. You take out the big three for sure that I remember. So you take out Poseidon, you take out Hades, you take out Zeus. This is just an event. I think this is like the first like, hey, sit down, like you need to get a PS3. Like this wasn't
This was the reason. This is
was
the
an
reason
event.
why you bought a PS3. Like, if you didn't have one already, you were buying it because of this.
because I know we talked about like the Uncharted. We talked about like I guess Sly Cooper would have been PS2. We talked about what was the Infamous. Like, yeah, those were fine and dandy, but this is the first one where it's like, fuck, dude, you need a PS3 right now.
So, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember which video I put in there. This is the 2010 one. This is originally PS3, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is like the video for PS3 one?
It's got an HD 60 frames per second, so
So, yeah, it is, but it's just, they just updated to
Yeah.
as best they could. So, look how beautiful, even for today's standards, how beautiful this game
it's a
is.
12-year-old game. Oh my god.
And it still holds up. Like,
We're
they,
old.
like, literally, Santa Monica did a beautiful job with this game. Even if you didn't like, even if it's you're like, okay, it's basically 2, but it's it's the continuation of it. Yeah, but look how fucking good it looks.
Two was so grainy. So for those who don't know what God of War is, who haven't heard it, like we've talked about the previous ones, it's a hack and slash. You're fighting Greek gods. They wronged you. You're Kratos. You're this angry bald guy. And this was like I said, this was the end of the trilogy. They were going all fucking out. Like, oh my god, that tornado looked great. I can't.
Like I said, if you don't like it, even for the story or the gameplay, you have to admit, for a 12-year-old game, this looks great.
And it was so violent too.
Oh, I mean, just the part when you're literally beating the shit out of Poseidon.
If I can get
That
to it.
alone.
Or it was it Hermes?
Oh, when you cut Hermes' legs off? Oh, yeah. So it might be more towards the end.
Yeah, so this fight's like the first 28 minutes of the game, and they just
Yeah.
Kratos doesn't look too hot there. Like once they
Yeah,
zoom
that
in on the
was
characters, you're like, "Ew," but like
No, back. This, like I said, when you back it up, like here,
when you
that
back
looks
that thing
so
up,
good. By far one of the, and that's like I said, right? Like I said, first 30 minutes of the game, this is what's happening, and you have to admit, this is probably one of the coolest introductions to a game, and one of the coolest first boss fights in a game.
because if you remember the first game, everyone holds that Hydra fight like very high up. Like the first game
Yes.
only
Yeah.
had 3 boss fights. I want to say this had like 5 or 6, depending on who
No,
you-
it had a lot. You had Poseidon, you had Hermes,
Hades,
You
Well,
had
Hermes wasn't a boss fight. It was a
Hades.
chase. Hades was a boss fight.
Zeus.
Zeus,
Hercules, the
Was
Hercules boss
Hercules-
fight.
Hercules, Chronos. Is that?
Did you? I think you did fight Kronos because
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
one you didn't
'Cause-
fight him. You were just doing all that shit on that
Yeah.
temple on his back.
No, then he wants revenge, and you're like, okay, asshole, you're gonna get it.
I just want to get to the end. Yeah.
There you go. Here you go.
And you just
All right, it's gonna. If you're wheezy, don't look now.
close
Spoiler.
Your, hey,
And,
spoiler alert!
uh,
Close your eyes.
POV of Nick getting his ass beat.
The fact that they have you gouge his eyes out,
Yes.
and you
I mean,
see
like,
you see it from his eyeballs.
Yep.
I think they do the 2 thumbs too. What a freaking button on a scene! Like, way to end it. Like, how do we make this violent, like action packed moment? How do we end it? And they're like, what if we gouge his eyes out? Oh, here it comes.
Right here.
Oh.
Just watching him squirm.
Yeah, then it
Oh
just
man.
the water rises.
Oh yeah, and then watching. Okay, and that's another cool thing is every god you kill, they add more and more damage. Like I think here the waves start to grow uncontrollably and start to swallow the world up, and then with Hermes, it was locusts that come out because of his death.
Doesn't Hades kind of like put like all the souls like back up or something like that? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot
Yeah.
minute, but like I just remember every god you kill, it adds something else, more destruction to the world. And Kratos is like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
He's like, fuck it. It's all good. He's like, it's all gotta burn.
It does leave questions for obviously what they're doing now. So because it's like the way they left it, and here we are now. So there's a lot of gaps that you want filled in. That's definitely
Well,
one of mine. Is what happened to that world?
I never like played the new one on the PS5 or whatever, or was it PS4?
PS4.
Whatever.
Yes, sir.
Because I know they announced Ragnarok, but isn't it like different gods, like different?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Norse.
the Norse
Norse.
mythology. So Thor,
Yeah.
the whole
Loki.
shebang, yeah.
I
Odin.
I couldn't tell you a bunch of that. I could
Yeah.
tell you Loki, Thor. That's it. All right, guys. Anything else on God of War?
Yep.
Fantastic game.
What a like compared to like how 2009, the whole of 2009, the beginning of 2010, pretty fucking stellar, pretty
Yes.
fucking dope. Hey, you guys ready for the news?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into the news. It's news time.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
January 7th through 10th, International Consumer Electronics Show 2010 was held in Las Vegas. I love this. So that's CES. There's always weird shit there. I don't know. Did you see any? Was there any exceptionally weird shit there?
No. This is the one year they really didn't list very well. So, and I was like, no, we're still going to put it on there because later on they do explain a couple things, but this one they really didn't say like, oh, this was there. I think they may have shown like the updated like N gauge here or something.
Let's see. So 2009. So what was that movie? The one with the 3D. The sequel's coming out. Avatar. Yeah. So I think maybe there might have been like a big 3D push on the TVs there probably. That might have been something.
I think with this one too, this is the weird one where they showed like the monitor, like the huge 72 foot monitors running on i7.
I remember there being one year where like there was like I don't know if it was like a TV you could roll up, or if it was like just very very thin like this poster next to
I
me.
know which one you're talking about. I think that's later on. I think it's like next year or the following year.
We'll have to look that up. February 11th through the 14th, Microsoft X10 held in San Francisco. First look at. Okay, so this like I'm pretty sure these all came out, if not this year, like pretty soon. Fable 3, Halo Reach, Left 4 Dead 2, add-ons. The invite-only event also included other games expected. Alan Wake, that when we do that episode, that's going to be a banger of an episode because there's so much to pick from. Crackdown 2, Splinter Cell Conviction. This might have been before Conviction got its revamp. I think this was still like homeless Sam Fisher.
I think it was homeless Sam Fisher, yeah.
Bearded, like you were picking up tables and throwing them at people. Final Fantasy 13 and Xbox Game Room. I forgot the push they were making for like all those games. I don't know if it was supposed to be their like PlayStation Home, but I'm glad it didn't take off. It was just weird.
At the same time, I think that Sony introduced like that Sims like PlayStation thing where like you make your own avatar and you would go around doing things with the friends. Remember that?
Yeah, that was PlayStation Home.
Okay, that was okay. I was like, I don't remember what it was called, but I think that was their push for that.
Ooh. Okay, so then
Pick my camera.
So yeah, I mean it was looking like a great year for Xbox at that X10 event alone. So
and not so much for Nintendo.
I mean, okay, so February 24th through the 27th. Nintendo World Summit held in San Francisco featured Metroid Other M and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Metroid Other M, for those who don't know, was the Metroid that was it Team Ninja they let do that?
Yeah.
And it was just it was the most anime ass Metroid. Like Metroid is already pretty anime, like after Fusion. Like all the 2D entries were kind of like not the look of it, but like once they started adding the story of like Adam and everything, you're just like, okay, like this is an anime ass love story right here.
Well, and I'm sure we'll get to it. I'm sure that'll be on one of our lists. If not, we'll make sure at one point to talk about it.
I saw a video of them talking about Metroid Other M and like how the voice acting was awful and that Samus wouldn't shut up about a baby.
Baby Metroid?
Yeah, she refers to Metroid as baby like so many times in the game.
Yeah, I think they did like counted it. It's like 60 times or something like that, right?
It was a lot of times.
The other game they showed off much better, Super Mario Galaxy 2. I always thought it was weird that Galaxy got a 2 when like the convention is just basically like, hey, give it a new name. Like it's Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, Odyssey.
I think with Galaxy 2 even they finally did something people wanted and they added Luigi back to a game. In single player. In single player. Like you didn't have to be 2-player, you could do single player and do Luigi.
The people demand Luigi to be back.
Well, now it's Waluigi. They want Waluigi everywhere. They won't do it.
They want him in Smash.
Give us options. Give us options.
That's gonna be a meme until Nintendo's finally like, fuck it, you want Waluigi? He's basically just a Luigi reskin.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Mario.
All right, that is the news. Jake, it's meme time.
Meme
Time.
All right, which one did we end up going with? Was it the?
I don't know. I like both these. I like both these memes. I mean, we can go both. Yeah.
It's getting greedy.
Oh, we got
All
a
right.
twofer. Okay.
All right, we'll do both. Let me pull both these up.
It's got to deal with heavy rain. It says saving Sean is all that matters. But first, let me fuck this chick I just met. I don't know the reference to that. It just sounds funny to me.
So you meet one. I believe one of the other characters is a woman. You meet her, and the hero is very, very fond of her. So yeah, spot on for the meme. All right, Jake, what's this other meme?
All right, the other meme is for Mass Effect 2. Actually, it could relate to almost all the Mass Effects that have them. But it reads, I just wanted to talk. He was too busy with his calibrations.
So the joke here is every time you talk to Garrus is one of the fan favorites throughout the series. He is he a Tyrian? I forget his race. But
Tyrion, I think it is.
he's a sharpshooter. He's really good with tech. And any character in an RPG, if you have like conversations with them, you eventually get to a point where there's nothing else to be said, and the character has a line that they drop. And Garrus's line is, "I'll be here working on my calibrations," and that was it.
Tyrion, by the
So
way, Tyrion.
that's the meme.
Turian. To see words, man. How did
I know.
work?
It's like I know you had the T right. I just can't remember what the rest of it was.
More like Turdian.
Turdian. All right, guys. To finish up today, so usually this is the part of the show where we would do a speed cap or a quiz. This week, we are going to be sharing our top games from the last 10 years, so 2000 through 2009. Each of us picked one game. The way we're going to do this is I'll say, all right, 2000. So then I'll give my game, Jake, Josh. You won't give a reason. We'll just say what it is. And then, like, if I'm like, Josh, you picked Pikmin for your game? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, there's no score, no nothing. It might lead to a conversation. I just know I don't want to be here all night doing this. Do you guys?
No, let's do this.
How do you want to be here?
Oh, god damn it. All right, we're voting this guy out. All right. So I'll always go first, and then we can do Jake, and then we'll do Josh, just so
That's fine.
we're not
Alright.
interrupting each other.
Save the rest for last.
All right.
Oldest to youngest.
All right. So 2000, I picked The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask.
Me too.
Yeah, I did as well.
God damn.
Oh man.
I figured this is gonna happen for this one.
Hey, it was a great game.
I mean, look at was it last year, 2020? Look at all the time loop games that are coming out now. It's funny that it took 20 years for like things to really catch on. The time loop was just great, and like it made you care about characters outside of Link and what was going on with him. Like there are memories of my life that I've forgotten because Andrew and Cafe are fucking up in my head with their whole marriage side plot.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what
Go
is it
talk
with
to a
you?
therapist.
Of all side plots to remember.
They were in love, and then he got turned into a child, and he disappeared, and like they were basically 3 screens away from each other, but their love was forever.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you guys want to do 2001?
Let's do
All
just
right.
one.
All right, so for 2001, I went with Metal Gear Solid 2. That is what is that? Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, I went with Super Smash Bros. Melee.
I too went with Sons of Liberty.
Yes.
You guys are pieces of shit.
Jake. Melee is.
Ooh, I got you another Metal Gear Solid game, but wait, you're not playing Snake.
Okay,
That's not true. We did for the first like 30 minutes.
Jake, your little pea brain doesn't understand why not playing as Snake was so pivotal to that game.
Moving on.
Jake, it was pivotal. Fucking Melee. 2002, I went with The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
You son of a bitch. Wind Waker.
I went Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah, Metroid Prime.
So I was going to go with Metroid Prime, but I saw Wind Waker and I was like, I actually had more of a fun time with Wind Waker.
I figured you guys were gonna go. One of you would go Wind Waker, and I was like, you know what? Metroid Prime. I remember going to GameStop and doing it. Just saying I want that game, and I left with that game. So
I think Prime in the long run is like the more memorable game. I just thought Wind Waker's like sailing and adventure side of things
Yeah, it
was
was
fun,
a-
and like doing the Triforce really sucked. But you know what? People don't talk about how Metroid had the artifacts. Metroid Prime had the artifacts. Basically
Yeah,
the
it's
same damn thing.
Yeah.
It's very much. They were like they had to like lunch together one day, and they're like, "So what do you do with your game? Oh, make some Triforce." Go on.
Try. artifact. You know, they kind of just mash.
They mix the letters around.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna see some difference in 2003. Let's see if that
Oh,
happens. 2003, I picked Beautiful Joe.
I thought about picking that one, but I actually picked Going Commando, Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank.
I
That's a good one.
picked Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
I fucking told you guys. So Beautiful Joe's stylish as fuck. It
was really fun.
If I ever get to write a TV show or a movie, like I'm going to pitch the hell out of something like Beautiful Joe.
Well, they did have
They had an anime
kind of a
for
cartoon.
for a little
Yeah.
bit. But it's so stylish. It's so much fun. The bosses were amazing, and it's like the one game where you get a score after a score after a level that I was like, yeah, I'm here for this.
Well, I mean, like Devil May Cry had something like that.
Yeah, I mean that I'm aware of Devil May Cry, but like it's the only game where I'm going for the S score.
Yeah.
Every other game, I'm just like,
because
oh, I got
more
C,
points.
fuck it.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but like Devil May Cry, you can keep those points, whereas like Beautiful Joe, you can't really restart. You have to keep going. You know.
Jake, why Going Commando?
It was really nostalgic for me. It was like my first Ratchet and Clank, and it happened to be one of my favorites because I didn't really care for the first one. I don't know. It was really fun. I like the leveling system.
All right.
Yeah.
Josh?
2 reasons. One, let's face it, this was at this point, Pokemon was unstoppable. And it's still unstoppable. At this point, it's solidified its place in history and will continue to stay. 2, the bike. They introduced the bike and it became the best game ever.
They had the bike in the second one.
I'm pretty sure they had the bike early.
It wasn't as fast. Like, so it would go faster than you're walking.
Wasn't as fast.
But it wasn't as fast. The bike was truly introduced where you could actually stand up and pedal fast.
The Ruby and Sapphire, what they introduced is that you had 2 different style bikes. You had the one that you could bunny hop,
The wheel, yeah, the
Yeah.
wheelie.
and then the other one was just for speed.
Either way, they like I said, this really solidified their spot in history. So.
No Pokemon game, Josh.
And I'm sure speedrunners went with the speedy bike. If anyone's
of course.
speedrunning Pokemon.
No, they probably won't. No, they probably won't the bunny hopper because they could skip certain spots with it.
Gotcha. All right, 2004. I went with another Metal Gear Solid game 3, Snake Eater.
Halo 2.
I went Snake Eater as well.
I'm
You
surprised.
pieces of shit. You guys just want that snake dick, don't you?
I'm
Dude, I'm
surprised.
not gonna lie, I would.
I'm surprised no one went San Andreas, but Snake Eater just because it introduced a lot of things that we would see in later Metal Gears, and also just that fight with the boss at the end. Best
I'm
boss fight of all
still
time.
can't get over. I still can't get over. I'm still in a dream, Snake Eater. Come on, there's just no
Hey, look, I'm Ocelot.
Yeah, Josh, the ladder, like the
ladder
20-minute
boss.
ladder boss.
Yes. Then I mean, come on, it's. How can you not enjoy Snake Eater? There's so much fun.
It's not that I didn't enjoy it. I just thought Halo 2.
Time out. Jake gave us shit for Metal Gear Solid. Jake, you like Halo 2, you only play as Master Chief for a little bit, but then you switch over to the Arbiter.
Yeah, I actually love playing the Covenant. I like matchmaking online. But what I was gonna say is that Halo 2 was the forerunner to online
No, you're right.
gaming.
No,
It was
You're right.
great.
it was the
Halo
gatekeeper.
2 was a huge deal.
I'm
You're
I'm just giving you shit because of the hypocrisy that I'm seeing in this
Hey,
podcast.
Nick.
Moving on, 2005, I went with Shadow of the Colossus.
Penis. Resident Evil 4, man.
I went Resident Evil 4 as well.
Yeah, how could you not? I mean, even with the hype of the remake, which I hope they don't mess up.
I don't
That's
think
me
they
being
will.
nice.
So this is my thought on it. So they're going to keep Resident Evil 4 and always be in everybody's heart for that. What brought fans to the action portion of it. But Resident Evil 4 remake is going to be to the horror aspect. The ones that loved 1, 2, and 3 more because of the horror. That's what they're aiming towards with this.
I just hope they don't mess up like they did with the remake of 3.
Well, 3 is just because of cut content. I think if they would have included it, would have been good. But the fact that
If anything, I feel like they should add some DLC to
they still got that rumor for the Nemesis edition, which will bring back cut content and everything.
It's crazy. They cut a whole freaking boss from 3. That's crazy.
They cut a lot, and then that giant laser thing. I mean, come on.
You cut a whole boss out, and you get rid of the clock tower. I mean, that was like a huge point of it.
I went with Shadow of the Colossus because it's art, you uncultured monkeys. It's art. It's beautiful.
Okay, well, what'd you do for 2006 then?
All right, so moving on to 2006. I hope the rest of you picked this, or else you're being voted off the show.
I already know.
I went
Is
with
it
Gears
good?
of War.
Gears of War.
Oh, I actually went Double Agent.
Splinter Cell.
Double Agent.
Yeah, Splinter Cell Double Agent. Yeah.
Double Agent was. I like the multiplayer. It was really fun, but Gears of War was. Yeah. It was
No,
fun.
I'm not saying that Gears of War wasn't good. It obviously was good, but Double Agent, it just sticks to me more. And I think it was just done, especially on the 360 version, it's just done so well. You cannot deny that.
The missions were beautiful, and I'm sure if I started up some of the I think there's like a mission where you're on a glacier, another one where you're on the prison break, the yacht, the giant yacht that you're on.
I think you just named the first 3 missions in a row.
Did I?
Because the first one you're in the glacier. The second one is the prison escape because you're trying to join the crew. But I think the first one's an assassination mission to prove your loyalty.
They redid like the shadow mechanic, so instead of like the bar at the bottom of the screen, you were either green, red, or yellow.
Yep.
So I really like that aspect of it, and the multiplayer is fine. I think Chaos Theory had better multiplayer, but Gears of War, oh my god, there's how like you hear a sound a lot, and then it's stuck in your head, even when it's not like the hammer burst is stuck in my head for the rest of my life.
Oh, I can hear that right now. Yeah.
Like where they try to show you a point of interest where it's a dong, like the gong, basically. That's what I hear personally. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, like I said, they're both great games. I agree that Gears of War is good, but Double Agent won my heart. So.
I've been thinking about getting it on Steam, but it's got mixed reviews because I don't think they did the work to carry it over properly.
That's not
Oh,
surprising. There's modders
that
working
game.
on it.
2007. I threw a screwball here. You guys are gonna be like, you fucker. I went with the orange box.
Ooh.
I knew one of you fucks would do it. I went with Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
I went Halo 3.
Another year. I went orange box just because you're getting Half-Life 2 in the first 2 episodes. You were getting Portal, which became like a freaking household name. And then you're getting Team Fortress 2, which was the most addicting multiplayer I remember, like, for the longest time in my teenage years.
It still is right now.
Yeah, I mean, Valve is actually working on fixing Team Fortress 2.
Good.
Yeah. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I mean, it was just another game that was it just exploded the multiplayer esport that is what we have today. You know, it's like the start of a huge franchise.
I mean, it brought the kill streak. It made the kill streaks a thing.
Yeah.
And then right there with the esports, I mean, Halo 3 is right behind that. It is a forerunner with that, and it honestly is probably the first huge, next to Call of Duty, of course, the first huge multiplayer game to launch for the 360.
Halo.
Yeah,
It's crazy
Yeah.
that those came out within like a month of each other.
Yeah,
really
because like fall is like the best time of year for games to come out.
well, they're trying to get ready for like Black Friday and Christmas, so they want to get like max out those profits. What better way to do it than release your AAA title that's going to change the world?
Well, and then 2007, like, people herald that year because that gave us Mass Effect, that gave us Halo 3, that gave us Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. I think Assassin's Creed was in there. Like, like people, when they talk about movies, like, they talk about 1999 being a big movie year. Like, 2007 is video games 1999.
Definitely.
Moving on to 2008, I kept it in the family and I went with Gears of War 2 just because they did everything so much better. Sorry.
I also went with Gears of War 2.
I switched it up. I went Dead Space.
You motherfucker. Choke this motherfucker.
Okay, hold on. So obviously give your reasons real quick for Gears of War 2.
It was fun.
Just
That's it.
The campaign, like, they upped it. They upped like the level of action and like how many characters would be on screen. I thought my 360 was going to melt. Or R360. It was R360 at that point, but whatever.
It was actually me and Jake's 360 at that point. So
Yeah, you monkey.
Shut the fuck up.
And they also they kind of I guess made a cleaner matchmaking system, because I remember in the first one where it was kind of like buggy,
Mhm.
like especially ranked.
Yeah,
Because I remember if I remember like if you got disconnected, like you lost all that, or it counted as a loss.
It was hard because like they had a lot of like achievements based for that first game. They had a lot of achievements based around get 100 chainsaw kills or the seriously like it was hard to count stuff because if you disconnected, like what's counting? There wasn't like an official counter. This was still early achievements.
Yep.
Well, the reason I picked Dead Space is because it revitalized a somewhat dying franchise, especially with like horror games like
Oh, you mean
Silent
like
Hills.
the genre?
Yeah, it's like
Franchise.
that's what I meant. Is genre.
Franchise.
Josh is
Yeah,
franchising over here.
Yeah, I'm working on my franchises. No, it's like I mean, Silent Hill is kind of going silent. I mean, there wasn't too much out there. What they did have wasn't like sticking out. Resident Evil is working down the action path. We had the Chris punching a boulder meme coming out. I mean, like, so Dead Space did something that was, lacking, and that was bringing horror into, and they did it better, bringing horror into space.
If only there was another medium that had done that 30 years prior.
Oh, geez, I wonder what. All right, let's end this right now. Nick,
Right.
2009, end it strong.
2009, I was split between the two Halos, with Halo Wars taking it.
Huh. I actually went with Borderlands.
Oh, motherfucker.
I went Infamous.
Okay, all right, another split. So I went Halo Wars just because the crazy sons of bitches were like, hey, people like the shooters. This was originally going to be an RTS. Let's put it out on consoles. And it didn't fucking bomb. They closed the developer soon after, but it didn't fucking bomb. It was pretty good.
I mean, I went with Borderlands because I remember like it was kind of nostalgic where Borderlands was one of those first games that you could play with friends online, or I think you could. No, I don't know if you could play it on the couch, but like it was kind of like one of those action adventure games where you can level up and get like good weapons. It was kind of a grind game, but it was still fun to play. And it was like kind of one of the first.
The
It was a
Diablo
different
aspects
animation.
of it was the seller. Like, oh, hey, there's millions of weapons here, and you can play with your 4 friends.
Yeah, I mean like the ending kind of but the DLC kind of fixed it, made it more I guess enjoyable instead of just having a shitty ending. But yeah, it had a lot to offer. And I mean, and then the second one came out, had a good, and now they're talking about having a TV series or a movie. I'm not sure.
They're doing a movie.
Yeah, which I don't know how they're gonna do that, but
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
hunters.
it was fun. It was a fun time.
Infamous. What more do I need to say other than you get to fucking control lightning? You are essentially a god. You get midway through the game and you're able to summon lightning from the freaking skies and rain down upon your enemies. Tell me what more you want besides the fact that you can become good and save the world, or bad and conquer it.
Why be Electro when you can be Spider-Man if you just wait 10 years, Josh?
I'm gonna be like the Batmans. I'm gonna watch myself be the hero long enough to become the villain.
Oh, so that guy that's in the new Thor.
Well, literally, it's like every Batman film has basically become a villain.
Yeah.
Other than
Yeah, if you think about it,
obviously,
Clooney,
no, the newest one. What's his name?
Oh, Patrick.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Patrick.
Not Patrick.
Not yet.
Patrick.
Oh, what's his name?
Edward,
Edward Cullen.
what's his name?
Edward Cullen. Robert
Oh,
Pattinson.
Damn it.
Robert
Yes,
Pattinson.
Robert
There
Jesus.
it is. His day
Yeah.
will come, Josh.
His day
Well,
will.
not yet.
Well, that's what I said. You watch yourself be the hero long enough to become the villain.
But how do we not know that the vampire that he played in Twilight wasn't a bad guy?
Because he loved Bella. And I'm cutting this conversation off because that is the end of the Josh, stop with your Twilight facts. They're not wanted. That is the end of the show, everybody. Guys, thank you for pulling your game together in such short notice, too. Gentlemen, that's wonderful. We are on, so was Smashing Game Time. We are on different social medias. We got a few extra ones now. So we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're new on TikTok. We've also got a brand new YouTube channel. I took them off my personal YouTube. It's a slow but steady process because I just found out you can only do so many uploads a day. So
Really?
we're slowly getting all of them over onto YouTube under the new channel. We're going to put links into the show notes. Check those out, folks. You can find me on Twitter at That Kaufman or on Twitch at Nick Fat Knight. Not streaming right now, got a lot going on. Going to be trying some Iron Harvest in the coming week. They just had a new update, so that'll likely be, by the time you hear this, that'll be the Tuesday coming. What about you, Jake?
So you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Jakey Boy Kaufman. Set 7 for Teamfight Tactics starts tomorrow. It's called Dragonlands. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. I played the test server recently. That was fun. I've also been doing some coaching for Brawlhalla, upcoming tournaments, all that jazz. It's gonna be a fun month for sure. Josh, how about you?
I'm on Twitter at I am Josh Saying, Twitch at I'm Josh Saying. I'm gonna try and get through the rest of Resident Evil 4 professional run. For nostalgia reasons, of course, now the trailer dropped for the new Resident Evil 4 remake, and then go through some more Halo Reach.
Do you really want to know what Josh is saying? Go check him out.
Go check him out.
Yes, go check me out.
I just remembered I'm playing in an Iron Harvest tournament on the 18th. I'm not sure when you'll be hearing this, but I'll probably be streaming from there, maybe doing some casting afterwards. So check that out on June 18th. Well, everybody, that was our show. As always, like, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you again to the Trident Network for embracing us and welcoming us into their family. You guys are awesome. Val, thank you so much. Yeah. And also thank you to Alex Marvin Clark for his song that we use for our intros and outros. Hunt him down. I love that song. He's got a SoundCloud that we link in the show notes. Go ahead and check him out. Check out more of his stuff. Go support him. Great guy. That is our show, everyone. Next week we'll be doing 2010 Q2, and we'll be doing a speed cap. We're going to keep it under wraps for right now. We're going to decide it off air. Everybody, this is Nick signing off. We hope you all had a smashing game time, and we will see you next time.
Toodaloo.